Hey, all, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about simplifying radicals, which we have talked about recently in class together. So, if you remember the methods to simplify radicals, then you should absolutely apply those methods if you feel comfortable and you know you're going to get your answer right. But here's just some other ways when we see problems that if we start forgetting what we did during class together, even though you knew how to do it, how you can get a correct answer. And one of the easiest ways to match a correct answer is to just type them all in to the calculator. So if I want to simplify the cube root of 3,456, I can just type it in there. Remember, you're typing CBRT. And then I could just type all the answer choices and see which ones match. And like I said in my previous video, it might take you a couple extra minutes to type all this stuff into Desmos. It could be a little frustrating, but knowing that you're going to get the right answer should help you push forward and take that extra minute or two. I see that I have two answer choices, this one and this one, that match the original. We want the simplest form. And so simplest form usually is going to mean the smaller number underneath the radical. 2 is smaller than 16, and so C would be our simplest version of the cube root of 3,456. Now, this is something we really haven't talked about, trying to multiply things with radicals, so I'm just going to make a comment about it now. The way that we do this is that we multiply the numbers in front of the radicals together, just like their coefficients to a variable. So if I had 4x times 2x, I would multiply 4 times 2 and get 8. And then I would multiply x times x and get x squared. I can do the same thing with radicals. I can multiply this 4 times 2 and get 8. And then I can multiply 2 times 3 and get 6 underneath the radical. That's my choice. And in this case, this problem would want you to drag those numbers to the correct spots. Now, that was very quick. We didn't spend a lot of time on this in class. If you didn't know what to do, you have numbers as a choice. You know that one of them is going to be outside of square root, one of them is going to be underneath. We can mess around with these numbers and see which ones worked. We could type the original expression in. And see what it would equal to. That's a pretty nasty looking decimal, but that's okay. And then we know we're going to have something simplified. So we can just start plugging some of the numbers in and finding which one matches. Again, as I've said a couple times now, that might take you a few minutes, but this might be a problem that you can get right just by working through it this way, taking a few extra minutes and making sure that you can get the right answer. And so we can check that my math was correct, that 8 root 6 is the correct answer. And it is, because those two decimals match each other. So it's maybe not the cleanest and easiest way to get this question right. But if you can't remember that little bit that I just told you about multiplying the numbers in front and then multiplying the numbers inside the radicals, you can always do a little bit of guess and check using Desmos to help you. And then, of course, sometimes we're just going to have to know how to do it. There are definitely problems we're going to have to know how to do without using any sort of calculator trick. So this will call us back to adding the table in Desmos, where we do 1 squared and 2 squared and so on and so forth. And we simplify the radical that way. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this table. I'm going to pause. You should put the table in yourself, and then we'll simplify it together. When we were working on these in class, we did 1 through 10. I would recommend you go all the way to 20. It's going to take you an extra 30 seconds to get up to 20 squared in there. But sometimes we have bigger numbers that we need to find. Remember that we're going to go here, delete out y1, and type 180 divided by x1. And then we're going down and we're finding the smallest number in this right column that is not a decimal. And I didn't need to go all the way to 20, but it's a good practice to know that maybe you need to go a little farther. I get 6 squared and 5. And then remember that 6 squared is two sixes. They're partners. They can try to escape the radical, but only one of them makes it. 5 didn't have a partner, so it's stuck underneath the radical. And then I would type that into this box. I would type 6, then I would choose the square root symbol and type 5, and that would be my answer.